Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Liquidity Management Portal upgrade walkthrough. My name is Bruno Di Matteo. I'm the product manager responsible for the Liquidity Management Portal here at the ANZ. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that I'm joining you today from the Gadigal country and pay my respects to elders past and present. Thank you for taking the time to join today's session. The purpose of this session is to walk through the upgraded Liquidity Management Portal and help you become familiar with the new interface. Before we get started, just a few housekeeping items. Today's session is being recorded. If you have any questions during the session, please post them in the chat. We'll respond where we can during the session, and for anything we don't get to, we'll provide responses after today. Just want to start by providing you with a bit of an overview on the upgrade. The upgraded Liquidity Management Portal has been launched on Monday, the 11th of May, 2026, this coming Monday. The key thing to note is that this upgrade is a change to the user interface only. There are no changes to your underlying liquidity structures, sweeping behaviors, intercompany arrangements, existing reports or data. Once you've had a chance to familiarize yourself with the new interface, we expect you'll find the navigation simpler, the layout cleaner, and the information easier to locate. We understand reports are critical and that any change to reporting can create unwanted effort. To avoid this, all report layouts and formats remain unchanged from the previous version of liquidity management. All existing data and structures have been fully carried across, as of your transactional histories, into the upgraded portal. Let's kick off. I'll share my screen and we'll start stepping through the new portal. Okay, I've logged into the new Liquidity Management Portal. Access to the portal hasn't changed. You'll continue to access the portal by selecting the application tile in Transactive. Access remains limited to users who have already been granted liquidity management entitlements. If you require additional users, please contact your ANZ account manager or client service manager. We have refreshed the navigation of the platform. Key to that is the adoption of a centralized menu system, which is in the top left-hand corner. This button is available on all the screens that I'll be stepping through. You'll notice, consistent across all screens. You'll also notice that we've introduced a great event symbol. This allows you to drill down into further information. So let's select the menu. I'll go into our sweeps section. And the expand button allows you to drill down. So in general, throughout all the screens, we present a snapshot of the information, select the great event symbol to be provided with an overview, and we can go into further details. And we'll drill into that in a second. Along the main menu bar at the top, we also have your profile. I happen to be Victor Lim today, who's also a demo user. If I click on that, there are settings that relate to my user details that I can amend. I can change my number formats, my time formats, presented with some basic profile information, and also display settings. My access allows me to view both sweeps and pools, along with some other functionality which isn't available in Australia. You can select your default screen. I've selected sweeps, but I could change that to pools. Select pools, click on save, and my preferences have been saved. So now when I log on into Liquidity Management Portal, I'm presented with the screen I want to see first. Okay. To navigate back to sweeps, select the main menu, select sweeps. Okay. I want to explore this screen. So this screen now we can expand and look at further information around our sweeping structures. Up the top, we have a setup, which is an overview of the sweep structures we have in place, and we'll dive into them in a second. We also have executions. Executions is a listing of when a sweep was executed. That's something you may want to see every day, so you can access that quickly. Additionally, where it makes sense, you can also navigate to it directly by the I want to. So if you want to see the sweep execution, instruction execution details report quickly without having to navigate, you can click on the I want to, select that, enter your date range. As a default, it'll default to the last week's worth of activity, but you're welcome to go back to any time within the last 2 years and select information. I'll select November 2026. Okay, and now I'm presented with a summary of the sweeps that occurred within that date range that I just entered. To navigate back to sweeps, we've got a couple of options. We can click on sweeps to go back. And as I've said before, you can always use the central navigation to go back to where we were. Yep. So first, let's have a look at what this screen represents. So this customer has 3 sweeping structures. First structure has 4 accounts with 3 instructions, as does the second, and the last structure has 2 accounts with 1 instruction. You can change the grouping of how this information is presented by selecting on the grouping button. You can select a grouping by type, by frequency, by type, by status. As a default, it will display it by status. If you select the greater than symbol, you'll be able to expand out and get additional information on the sweeps. So in the summary, it mentions we have 4 accounts and 3 instructions. By clicking on that, you can have a look at those 4 accounts and the instructions they're related to. We provide the order that the sweeps are carried out, the instruction type, and if there's a target balance for that sweep. The account information is represented as child and master. The child account and the master account relationships. The top account, which I've just highlighted, is the child account, and the second account represented is the master account. You'll note that the master account is the same in all these sweeping structures. Additionally, you can select the greater than symbol here to get further information on each of these sweeping instructions. So I'll select the greater than sign. Gives me details on the sweep. It also makes common information which you may want to access daily or a common thing you'd be interested in knowing is when was the last time this sweep was executed. The execution is included here, but you can also click on there for a report of the last execution. All the information that's represented can be downloaded or exported. You may want to download this information. Okay, we'll go to Export Center in a second, but that information is now being downloaded and available for you to download. I shall go back to sweeps. Some sweeping instructions also have intercompany loan arrangements attached to them. Where that occurs, where there's a intercompany loan relationship, you can select relationship, select it, and it will show you the relationship between the 2 accounts that form that intercompany loan. This happens to be a revolving relationship with 2 participant accounts, and we provide details of that relationship. And by selecting the greater than symbol, I can look at the interest accrual for that loan period, for that intercompany loan that's established for that sweeping relationship. Okay, show details. Yeah. Also want to show you our chart functionality. So we represent information as text, but we can also represent it as a chart, as a diagram which you can export. This is an overview, but as we dig deeper into the structure, we can I'll produce another one. Bear with me. Sweeps, structure, select here. That functionality is available on all our sweeping screens. So if I show chart, this gives me an overview of the sweeping structure, which can be exported, cut and paste, included in reports. If you hover your mouse over it, it will show you information around the sweeps that form this structure. Okay. Execution. I'll go back to sweeps, executions. I can enter a date, a particular date, which I'm interested in finding when sweeps which were executed on that particular day. I can enter that date here, or I can create a report from it as well. Moving to intercompany loans, we kind of touched on this when I showed that relationship between the two sweeping, between that first sweep we drilled into. That information is also available by selecting intercompany loans. The menu is driven same as previously. It's a great event to expand it. We can show greater details. In this instance, we can drill down into the interest rates that are applicable for that loan, that account pair that forms the intercompany loan. These rates are set by yourselves. When you establish an intercompany loan with the ANZ, we capture the interest rates that you would like to apply, typically the margin and the benchmark you would like to utilise, and we can utilise that to track loan positions. We can also track and post. If you'd like more information about that functionality, suggest you contact your ANZ account manager. Existing reporting to support our intercompany loan offering hasn't changed, and we will have a look at how we generate reports in a moment. Selected pools, and whether it's an interest optimization pool or a notional pool, the general navigation and functionality remains the same. I have one of each here. I have an IO pool, which is interest optimization, and the bottom one, the second one, is a fair share pool, which is a notional pool. For no particular reason, I'm going to click on the fair share pool. Excuse me. That provides, before I do that, that is an overview of the pools that you have established. You can select earnings, enter a date range. I'll come back to that because it's, unfortunately, I've got demo data, so I'll come back to that in a moment. I've selected the greater than sign and I've gone into greater details of the pool. These pools, there are free participant accounts within the pool, and they're listed here. I can create a chart of the pool. This provides us with a summary of the pool over the course, since it was, in this example, it's since December 2025, which is when the pool was open, but this will expand as depending on your data. Go back, get back into the pool. And select daily interest and balances. This will provide me with a running record of the balance of the pool and the interest accrued by the pool. And you can set your own date ranges in here. As a default, we'll default to the last week. Okay, go back to participants. You may be interested in diving deeper into the pool and seeing what interest rate's applicable. So let me show you how we achieve that. So I've clicked on the greater than symbol. I'll select show details. So bear with me for a second. Back to pool, show details. And from this screen, I can navigate to the interest rates. I can dive deeper into the debit interest or the credit interest. Again, it's a matter of selecting the drop-down arrow and then viewing the interest. So let's okay. The debit interest, 0 to, that's a big number. You can view the benchmark that's applicable for debit interest and the offset. The offset is actually the margin, and we represent that in basis points. And likewise, the same can be displayed for credit interest. So for credit interest, we show two slabs. A slab is a tier. So let's have a look at those two tiers. Two tiers is from 0 to 500,000 USD. It's the reference rate minus a margin, and from 500,000, let's just call this max. It's a reference rate minus 2. Now, remember this margin is how interest is calculated from the reference rate. So in essence, we're saying the reference rate minus the margin provides your interest rate. So let's move to, I should point out, supplemental account services won't be displayed on your screens. That's purely for our markets outside of Australia. Reports. The ANZ conceptually has two different types of reports. We have what we term CANS reports, and they're reports we either provide automatically, daily, weekly, or monthly, or ad hoc reports. An ad hoc report is a report that you can produce when required. So let's have a look at both. So by clicking on reports and selecting liquidity CANS reports, you'll see that overnight ANZ has produced reports and delivered it to the liquidity management portal. These reports, if you have intercompany loans, you'll have an updated intercompany loan report. If you have interest optimization, you'll have reports that indicate the balance and interest that was accrued for the previous business day. So these reports will change depending on what services you have with the ANZ. The ad hoc reports are reports that you've requested. And let's generate a report. So to generate a report, you simply select Generate Report from the right-hand side, and it's menu driven. I'm interested in a liquidity report. I'll select liquidity. Report type. Let's select an interest accrual report. The option for a format, I'll select the PDF. I'll select continue. Pool ID. You don't need to remember your pool IDs. We'll present them in this window that appears. I'll select all pools. I'll confirm the selection. Again, the accounts that are available will be provided. So I'll select first account because it's a first account. And I'll do a date range. So continue, opportunity to review my data, see the filters I've selected, click on submit. Okay, that report is now being generated. Once you've clicked submit, it will take us to our report screen. Once that report's been generated, it'll be available for you to view by clicking the download button. It'll save it locally or to wherever your downloads are saved in your network, and you'll be able to open it. I created one previously, and as you'll hopefully know, the report formats haven't changed. They're exactly the same as we've previously delivered. Typically, reports are available in either a PDF, which I've displayed, an Excel format, and some reports are also available as a CSV, which can be opened in either Notepad or Excel. By clicking on the, let me just, okay, just refresh the screen by clicking on Liquidity CAN and back in the ad hoc reports, and you can see the report I requested earlier today has been produced, so at 1:19 p.m. I can click on download, and that report's now being saved to my download folder on my PC. Additionally, we've updated our help file. So at any point while you're in the LM application, or even outside of the application, you can access our online help. To access online help, select the online help. Scroll down till you get to your see Liquidity Management LM. And we've created a number of guides to help you navigate through them, navigating pool screens into company loans, the sweep screen. We've also provided a summary of all the reports that you can request via the ad hoc. So we show you that. These are the reports that are available for you to request as required by using the add generate report function within liquidity management. There are also videos and guides on how general navigation and how to maximize your utilization of the service. I'll go back to the portal. So it brings us to an end of today's walkthrough. I'd encourage you to explore the upgraded portal once it's live. We believe the new interface provides a clearer, more intuitive view of your liquidity management structures. Please feel free to generate reports and drill into the structures to understand which views and reports are best suited to your organisation's need. The platform is view only, so you can safely explore and familiarise yourself with the functionality. I'd like to thank you for your time today. And as mentioned earlier, if there are any questions we haven't responded in real time, we'll follow up with you shortly. Thanks for your time.